Hey guys, we're back. Hope you enjoyed the last video. Uh, I think we ended up talking about me starting me doing my first race. I didn't race for probably a year or two after that. That was my one and done. I went back to playing and having fun, and I wasn't that. I loved it, but I wasn't that serious about it to chase it. And what happened from there was uh, I got interested in this blonde headed girl that was real pretty, and her name was Robin Bateman. She happened to be Mr. Bateman's daughter, and her and I started dating and being together. And uh, Mr. Bateman liked it when I used to be a pit grunt and go to races with him because I was a lot of fun. I was I was not. I was a party animal back then. They thought it was funny, you know, entertaining or something. But when I knocked on his door one evening, he opened the door and he said, "What are you doing here?" I said, "I got a date with Robin tonight." He said, "I don't think so." And he slammed the door in my face. But anyway, we started dating, and I think we went on one date. I took her home. She ended up meeting some of my colorful friends. She was out of my league anyway. Anyway, long story short, I took her home. I said, "Can I call you and go out again?" And she said, "Don't bother." And I'm sitting in this wheelchair. We had our 48th wedding anniversary in ICU about 6 weeks ago. And it was a year and a half before I ever dated her again. But when I did start dating her, Mr. Bateman he knew what kind of person I was, which was not good. Before Jesus, it was not good. It was not good. And I wouldn't want me dating. I wouldn't want me dating my daughter either. So for him to keep tabs on me, he said, "Look, we're going to the boat race in Jacksonville next weekend, and you're going to go with us." He didn't ask me, he told me. And we went down to Jacksonville. Me and Robin got down there like 1 o'clock in the mornings. I had to work Friday. Saturday morning, we get up. She sleeps in the room with her dad. I sleep in my own room. He's going to keep his eye on Wally. And next morning, he says, "You go to the driver's meeting. I'm going to go register the race. I'm going to pay your entry fee, buy you gas, your oil, everything." I said, "All right." So it come skip a little ways. It comes time for me to run my class. I go out there and win my class and outrun everybody. I come back to the boat ramp. I don't have a truck or a trailer. And Mr. Bateman's standing on the boat ramp. I said, "Where's my trailer at?" He said, "You don't need a trailer. You need to get your butt back out there and run with the 80s. I said, "I got a 65. I don't want to run with the 80s. He said, "Run with the 80s. You need to practice." He was, he was just trying to wear me out, I think. So I went out and run the 80s with my little 65. I came in second. Come back to the boat ramp. He's standing in the boat ramp again. I ain't got no trailer or don't have any trailer. Uh, I said, "I need my trailer." He said, "You don't need a trailer. You need to go out there and run with the 100s. I said, "With a 65? He said, "Yeah, you need to practice." I said, "All right." So I go out there and run with the hundreds. I don't remember where I placed. Nah, it doesn't matter. So I come back after that. I'm getting worn out. And I still ain't got a boat trailer. And he said, go out there and run with the unlimited. I said, with a 65? And he said, yeah, you need to practice. I said, well, I needed some gas. I mean, I didn't have but a 5-gallon gas tank. He said, I'll get you some gas, but I'm not getting you a trailer. So he brought me some gas. I went out and run with the unlimiteds. And you could be in turn 1 on the 3rd lap, and you could hear a BP stacker in turn 4 behind you, a quarter or a half a mile away, coming up just to throw water all over you. But that's the way Harold was gonna. That's the way he did it, where he could police me and Robin for a while. And some of you that have met Mr. Bateman, Robin's dad, know that he was a cut up and a party guy himself. And but like I said, that was his way of watching me, and he made me go to he made me put Bateman Racing Team on my boat, made me go to every race they went to, and uh, he ended up, yeah, I won a bunch of races. I raced 2 or 3 years. I came in second at the Portsmouth APBA National Championships. I wanted to win, but I didn't. The guy from Ohio, we didn't have nothing for him. He was flying, and I ended up in practice burning a piston. So me and Mr. Bateman rebuilt I had a 650 XS then, had it on there. Rourke had a 650 XS, and this guy named Jerry Gwynn from Ohio, he just beat us. And Joe Burgess, he had a 75 Stinger. Mr. Gwynn came in first. I came in second. Stevie Robertson, Benny's little brother, came in third. I think Rourke come in fourth. But the other national championship I went to the year before was APBA National Championship in Eufaula, Alabama. When we got there, APBA was mad at Bateman Racing Team because we would only go to their big races, and we would kick butt, take names, take money, and then they didn't like it. And then when we get to the nationals, I go through, pre-race inspection, pull my boat in that area, and the official comes over there and looks at my boat, and he says, "Oh, Bateman Racing Team. Let's see what we can find wrong with this." So he looks all over the place, and he can't find anything wrong. He gets out a tape measure and measures across my cockpit, because APBA rule said at the seat, in front of the seat, the cockpit had to be 45 inches wide to run in a F class. FE was the class I was in, which was Family E. And mine measured 44 3/4. So they disqualified me. Or they told me, if you want to go cut the side out of your boat, move it over to 45 inches, we'll let you race. I said, I'm not cutting my boat up for anybody or any race. I just ain't not gonna do it. But long story short, I had a lot of fun. I learned a lot. I had some great mentors. We had some really talented people back in those days racing. I'm surprised we didn't have more accidents. It was very dangerous. There was not much safety other than a life jacket and a helmet. And but long story short, 1975, I asked Robin to marry me. We got married, and then I found out you can't afford 2 race boats and a wife. So I didn't get rid of my race boats. just quit racing them, and I kept my wife, obviously. Well, after Robin and I were married, and I quit boat racing, I still have my 14-foot Allison and a 15-foot Allison with a 1500 XS J block. It was extremely fast. It was hard to beat. And I went to one or two races anyway, and went down to Hazelhurst, took the 1500 XS off my 15, put it on my 14, went down there and outrun everybody. And Benny Robertson came over to me and he said, "Is that a 15-foot boat you're running?" And I said, "Yeah, it's just an old one. You know, it don't look the same as yours. It's just old." I lied. I mean, it was a 14 with a 1500 XS on it. I outrun it. Hazelhurst, little bitty course in the river current, two turn buoys, and that's it. And you could beat them on the start and hold them off. You had it. You had it won. I beat him on the start. Held Benny off. He tried to get inside me. I just cut him off. He tried to go around me on the outside, push him out to the bank towards in the river, and then cut back to the turn buoy. Me and Benny had to race each other quite a bit, and Benny is one of the most awesome boat drivers still today that there is. I mean, he is a truly talented boat driver. He can drive anything, and he can go from boat to boat to boat to boat to boat, different models, different kinds, tunnel boats, V bottoms, 15-foot, 40-foot. It doesn't make any difference. Benny is a boat driving machine, and I had fun racing with him. After I'd moved to Fort Worth, Texas, I moved to Fort Worth, Texas to go to Bible college, which I did. And that's when Benny was racing V8 Evinrude Formula One. And I drove from Fort Worth, Texas down to Beaumont, Texas when they had a race down there. I wanted to watch it. I still love boats. Uh, I wasn't messing with boats at the time. And I went down there and watched Benny race. And he would have run it. I mean, he would have won it. But his setup I think he must have had his timing too high or something. About 6 laps in, he burned the motor up. And I went over there and talked to him in the pits, and we cut up a little bit. And Gene Thibodeau ended up winning that race and the high points for that race. But Benny's an awesome boat driver. I've seen him a couple of times in the last 10 years at different trade shows and stuff, and talked to him. He's still a nice guy. Anyway, I sold when I took my 2 race boats to Fort Worth, Texas, nobody knew what a Allison boat was. I don't think they sold anything. That's back in 1979. They hadn't sold anything west of the Mississippi hardly. And I played with that boat. I repainted it, took all the racing stuff off of it, just painted it orange and white. It was pretty. That's the way my 13 and my 14 were. And I finally didn't use it enough, and I parked it in the garage. And I parked my Corvette in the garage, and made Robin park her car in the driveway. She didn't like that. So I ended up putting my 15-foot with the XS J block in the newspaper for sale. Got 2 calls. That's it. You know, you sitting in the DFW Metroplex, that's 60 something miles wide, and back then only 40 miles tall. You think you get a little better response than 2 people. Well, the first guy that called me, he didn't show up. The second guy that called me, when he got out of the truck and walked up to me, I didn't know if I recognized him or not, but I felt like I did, but it didn't hit me. And this is a neat little story. It shows you how small the world is. And he looked at the boat, took the motor cowling wrap off of it, make sure it was a J block 1500. And he said, "I'm buying this boat from my 10-year-old son. This will be his first boat." I said, "All right." And he said, "You don't remember who I am?" I said, "No, sir, not really." He said, "My name's Lewis Collins. I know your father-in-law and your brother-in-law real well." And he said, "This is my son, Brad Collins." Well, I don't have to tell you who Brad Collins was, but he was 10 years old. That was his first boat. He later owned Mirage Boats in Texas. I think everybody knows Brad Collins is in the hot rod boat world. And I guess we'll wrap this thing up and continue with some more history on the next one. But make sure you watch this thing. As long as I know that you're interested, I'll keep doing this. And when I get out of this wheelchair, which I hope won't be long, we'll go to the shop and do some interesting stuff and get dirty. But make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to this channel so it'll help us keep it going. And as long as you're watching, I'll be teaching. I'm gonna give away some secrets that nobody knows. And till the next time, thanks for watching.